Hello there, YouTube, my subscribers and followers. How y'all doing? Taking a break in between zodiacal reads series. The next one that I'm getting ready to do is one of the big ones. It is the Twin Flame reads, which I've just gotten the guidance over the past week since I've had a video on Vimeo on demand, Vimeo. On demand account, right? Vimeo Pro is what I have. I've had it for like 3 years. There's tons of my stuff on there. But, you know, watching other readers on YouTube, a lot of them like check the extended on Vimeo, right? So I went and I looked at how they were doing it, and I was like, I can do that. I'm already set up for that. So, and this brings me to the topic I wanted to talk about today briefly. We'll see how briefly it gets. By the way, blessed new moon in Libra. Today is the Saturday of new moon. Oh yeah, we're in it now. Yay. It was like 2:00 something, I think. So we're in it now. A good time to do a vid, I guess. That brings up the topic of reversals. See, the thing is I started with the Rider-Waite deck pretty much like everybody else, right? You start off with the Rider-Waite deck. Why? Because most books use that as, you know, pictorial examples, or they base it on the Rider-Waite deck. So although I don't have a Rider-Waite with me anymore, that's gone with the wind, throughout my career I have read many other decks, like, for example, the Mythic Tarot. Right? Oh, look, Gemini right at the top. So it's been quite a journey, you know, learning. I read the Salvador Dali Tarot, I read the Elemental Tarot, I mean, just so many of them. The Karmic Tarot, there's a lot of weird ones that I've read over the years. But then around 19 years old, my dear friend Ellen, we were at a party, and she read me on the Daughters of the Moon Tarot, and I was hooked. Why am I talking about reversals? Because when you're dealing with a rectangular deck, reversals are really obvious, right? It's 2 of Pentacles that way or 2 of Pentacles that way. But what do you do if you're reading a round deck like the Mother Piece Tarot, which I've never read, or Daughters of the Moon, right? So it's, oh, so this is like 5 of Flames burnout, right? But what kind of burnout is it, right? Because it turns like that, you see? So you have 360 degrees of interpretation there. So, because I'm getting ready to do these Twin Flame reads, I am going to be using both of these decks. So I wanted to talk a little bit about how I do reversals. And I've been teaching this when I teach tarot, because I do teach tarot, to my students, because they're all like, so does the strength card reversed mean weakness? I'm like, I get that. And there may even be a lot of books that write that way, and readers who read that way, and that's great. That's fine. This is how I read. I could have named the series How I Read, but I just thought clarifying made a better first word in a subject line. How I read, I kind of, because I've been doing this masculine feminine work forever. I was born on a full moon. I talk about trying to balance and integrate your divine masculine, your divine feminine. My whole life has been about that. So this is what came to me many, many, many years ago, really, even when I started teaching my students tarot, how to read professionally. This is what I was doing because I was reading a round deck, right? So let's pull a happier card, shall we? Oppression. No. No. Oh, okay, this is good. So in this deck, 2 of Blades, right? The 2 of Swords. In this deck comes right out and calls it analysis, right? Great Virgo card. No wonder I picked that one. So when it's straight up, the way I take it is the external world. The yang, right? You're analyzing something out here. Yes, it's an internal process, but you're analyzing something out here, gathering information, thinking a couple of steps ahead, just like a fencer would. In fencing and sword play and boxing, any kind of one-on-one contact sport like that, you're not just thinking, or even chess for that matter, thank you very much, you're not just thinking about you know, the next move, you're thinking 3-4 moves ahead, right? But when it goes upside down, reversed, this would be what I'd call straight on reversed, then that's internal, right? Analysis internal, yin. So yang, yin, and then of course you get these 90-degree angles of half yin, half yang. Now the other thing I can do, I don't know how well this will read on camera, but I always look at my cards as turning clockwise, so you know, that'll be counterclockwise for you. So in terms of elements of timing, in terms of elements of cycles, of when something is going internal, right, or completely yin, completely internal, and then slowly like a clock more like a sundial most days, going external like that, that it can show where you are in the completion of a cycle. So reversals for me, very, very different that way. So now do I go back, because I'm going to be reading the Mythic Tarot as clarifiers for the twin flame reads and maybe others. Do I go back to, well, you know, the opposite of it means that's not how I roll anymore. How I roll is then, okay, let's pick a card, any card, right? Okay, Four of Cups straight up. Now in this is about the myth of Eros and Psyche, where she's already married to Eros, the god of love, right? Oh, I'm wearing his bow, Eros's bow, Cupid's bow. Come on, focus camera. There we go. Well, you know they were married, but she wasn't allowed to look at him because he didn't want to reveal that he was a god, right? So that was part of their marriage compact. But she's living in this gorgeous palace. Everything she asks for is instantly given to her, you know, living with gods. I live with cats. I do that for them. What do you want? Here. But then she's lonely, so she asks if her sisters can come. And what do her sisters do? Whisper, how do you know? How do you know? How do you know who he is? Could be a monster that's coming to you every night. You have no idea. You're not allowed to see his face. Why, right? So what does that put her in? That puts her in an external yang, Four of Cups moment. Really, like, not so much indecision, but sort of taking it in and sort of having to mull that over and sit with it, right? It's in a way a very restful. Fours are about stabilization and rest. But in this case, about kind of like just taking it all in and letting it simmer. For an external thing, reversed then would be really almost to a point emotional repression, right? Or just not letting on what's going on in the inside world while you sort of feel things out. Doesn't that make sense? That makes sense to me. That we are all a balance of divine masculine and divine feminine energies. Yes, that's part of the third dimensional illusion of separation, duality, polarity, and yet it is divine masculine and divine feminine, which is why I love to look more at Taoism and the I Ching, which is, you know, the I Ching is that dark half of the circle with the white dot, the white half of the circle with the black dot, that we are all one. It is the circle that unites the whole thing. But until we're really fully embodying fifth dimensional unity consciousness, it helps to use the language, right, to bring ourselves into balance. And I thought that was pretty appropriate for a new moon in Libra to talk about. So I will be getting on those readings probably later tonight, although I think I'm going to do a True Lovers read, where the True Lovers Collective is, which is different than Twin Flame and Soulmate, I believe. Still clarifying that. I've graphed out, you know, I've sketched out a couple of different spreads. I make spreads. I've been making my own spreads for a really long time. But we'll see how that goes too. So please, if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe. I am growing and evolving. Considering I've been reading cards since I'm 12 years old and I'm 51, my learning curve never stops, because my prayer every morning is, today may I be more loving, wise, and powerful than I have ever been, right? And whenever I do a reading, whenever I do a spiritual counseling, whenever I, you know, private, whenever I do one of these YouTube reads, my prayer is always, may this be the best video read, the best whatever it is that I have ever done. Not that I will ever do, let's not put a cap on it, but if I keep doing that every single time, I'm just going to keep getting better and better and better, because that's why we're here on this planet, to grow, to heal, to evolve, to become the best that we can be, and fulfill our roles in the divine plan. If you are one of my subscribers, you're probably tired of hearing that in every single one, but that's what I am. Oh, and since I am reading, you know, just really quick, I forgot I wanted to say this. The Mythic Tarot, I read it before. I read it when I lived in Boston, right? Greek myth, fabulous, right? But I gave my deck away, believe it or not, to a prostitute because she wanted to get out of the business, and so I gave her my deck and taught her how to read. Oh my God, I was under 21 years old at the time. Well, you know, Boston in the 80s. Interesting bedfellows. I didn't sleep with her. No offense. No offense to the sex workers, blessed be. So you know what I did to brush up on them? Good old Amazon. I got the Mythic Tarot workbook by Juliet Sharman Burke, co-author of the Mythic Tarot. So just to sort of brush up on it, that's why I'm going to do my Virgo studies, just to refresh. I know what the cards mean in the basic tarot structure of major arcana, minor arcana, and court cards. But this is the one, if you watch my clarifying court cards, this is the deck, this author, that really, really got the 12 signs of the zodiac for me. in the court cards. So I'm very happy to do this. Looking forward to do it. So hang in there. Please like and subscribe. I'm really, actually, I'm inspired, and I'm a little excited to see what happens next, especially with the twin flame reads. Cool. So you can follow me on Vimeo now if you like. I should put a link to my Vimeo channel. I will. All the October stuff is up there as well. You can follow me there if you like. You can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And by the way, I still have some room in my Facebook. So if you'd like to add me as a Facebook friend, as many of my clients do, feel free to do that. Mark A. Lyons in Holbrook, New York. Cool. Also, check out my website, DrawingTheCircle.com. Read my book. Read my book, Words of Grace. I'm a professional witch, promo. But, Drawing the Circle Productions, 21 years old. Sorry, my contact lens decided it wanted a life of its own there for a second. We have grown and evolved, and the new book that I'm working on, Path of True Love, my editor Jill Schweitzer, blessed be Jill Schweitzer, is editing as we speak, most likely. Most of it's written. It's just filling in the mortar in between the bricks that I got to do. Cool. So I love you all so very much. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching and subscribing and liking and sharing and blah blah blah. But for now, my darlings, hail, farewell, and as ever, blessed be.